Hello and welcome to Game Day U, Oklahoma's only weekly football pregame show live on TV. I'm your host Michael Thompson alongside Hallie McPherson, and joining us all the way from Knoxville are Game Day U's Cam Williams and Andrew West. Now, Ole Miss made the trip to Norman for the first time ever last Saturday. And picking it up here in the second quarter, Sooners down 7. Isaiah Satania shows his track background, taking the pass from Mateer 76 yards to the house, tying the game 10-10. But he wasn't the only Sooner with a long touchdown. Third quarter here, OU down 12. Xavier Robinson takes the handoff, looks for a seam, and he finds it. He bursts ahead for a 65-yard score, giving OU their first game since 2022 with 2 scores of 60 yards or more. But Robinson wasn't done. He punches it into the end zone from 9 yards out for a 1-point lead, 26-25 after the failed 2-point conversion. But Ole Miss answers back. OU does force a punt here with 7 minutes left, down 5. Satania grabs the punt, gets blown up and fumbles the ball. OU gives up a great chance to go on and win the game. Ole Miss takes it 34-26. Now, the Sooner offense seemed bipolar on Saturday. They finally found some explosive plays, but they struggled with consistency. Mateer completed 10 of his first 11 passes, but only 5 of his final 15. It seemed like as the run game got going, the passing game disappeared.
Michael, this offense was so bad, I have to add more. OU went 4 for 14 on third downs, barely giving the defense time to even get off the field. Every chance OU had to come back, it just slipped through their fingers. Cam, Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, Hallie, the Ole Miss game was really the first time this Sooner defense looked relatively normal. Trinidad Chambliss threw for 315 yards passing, and it was the first time this season that the Sooners allowed a 300-yard passer.
Yeah, Cam, I'm actually with Michael and Hallie. That offense against Ole Miss was just one big example of what not to do, but they may have found something with Xavier Robinson in the backfield, who averaged 12 yards a carry. That could help with the time of possession issue and give that defense time to rest.
Well, Andrew, special teams have been one bright spot for most of the season, but penalties and now a costly fumble from Isaiah Satania have hurt this Sooner team. Brent Venables says focusing on what is in their hands will take care of the mistakes that keep happening.
The fumble's something that's, you always hate, and so you say, how do you avoid that? And Isaiah is doing a great job hanging on to the ball. The guy, just ripping and ripping and ripping at it. I look at how did that guy get there, and whose man was that? That's what I look at. And that's something that we can control.
John Mateer has not been playing his best ball. Against Ole Miss, he kept trying to run the ball, even though it was not working. 13 carries for 17 yards and sacked 3 times. Mateer says it's not his thumb, and he's only human.
It's definitely not my thumb, I'll tell you that. And I'll stand by that. My thumb is perfectly fine. I think there's just ups and downs of the flows of the game, and I'm a human. I'm not perfect, so there's good times, there's bad times, and not to say it's bad. I don't really think it's that bad. Like, I'm not seeing the field. It's not like crucial. It's okay. I think it's not just like I don't know what I'm looking at.
Well, we'll see if John Mateer can figure out what he is looking at in Tennessee tonight. But now let's head to Knoxville, where Game Day U's Andrew West and Cam Williams are live with more. Cam, how's it looking at Rocky Top?
Yeah, Michael, Andrew and I are right outside of Neyland Stadium, home of the Vols, and tonight a top 20 big-time showdown that has major playoff implications, but this Sooner defense is ready for the challenge.
You have to be able to let it go, the good and the bad. Every week is the biggest game of the year, so we just got to get back and work harder and get back to the drawing board and go down to Knoxville, and it's going to be fun. I love going away games, but more than home games, it's just fun, so it'll be fun going down there and, and playing in that atmosphere.
Everyone knows for success you have got to find ways to execute, and the team was not always put in the best spot to do that, but OU offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle is looking to fix both of those problems.
The biggest self-evaluation that I took away from it for my own self and my own perspective is finding ways to make us execute better, make us more detailed. Right, and that's not on the kids, that's on me. How can I be better at practice? How can I be better at installing a game plan?
Arbuckle and that offense will have to bring their A game because the Tennessee fans will not make it easy for them. Michael, back to y'all in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. Last time OU played in Neyland Stadium, it was one for the ages. Game Day U reporter Darby McCormick has more about the all-time classic. Darby?
Yeah, Michael, we're taking a trip down memory lane to the last time OU went to Tennessee. And for a game as big as that, it takes the Heisman and the player that sealed the deal for the Sooners to describe it. Keep it here.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Back to Game Day U. One of the most iconic games in OU football history will have a new chapter written today, but it will be hard to top 2015. Game Day U reporter Darby McCormick is live with a blast from the past. Darby?
Michael, the Sooners went into Neyland Stadium 10 years ago and beat the Volunteers in double overtime. And to figure out just how big that game was, you just had to be there, or maybe even be the star players of the game.
Unhitch the wagon, put the ponies in the barn. The Sooners have come into Rocky Top and stolen one away from the Volunteers in double overtime.
A game that during regulation can only be described by the players as the Tennessee sang.
It started off rocky, man. I think the first quarter or halfway into the second quarter, we were already down 17 points.
I always talk about that game that we played horrible football for 3.5 quarters and wound up figuring it out in double overtime.
But a game that defined the 2015 Sooner squad.
And that was our first SEC on the road game. Obviously, it's week to week for these guys now, but it's a different atmosphere.
Get into the stadium itself, if you've never been to Neyland, it's a sight in itself. When 100,000 people fill up that stadium, I haven't played in anything louder than that. It was just kind of a matter of time before we knew Bake and those guys would get it going. So our game, I mean, you could talk to anybody on the sideline. Nobody ever felt like we were going to lose that game.
A mindset of faith in each other, and most definitely number 6.
We knew exactly who he was, what he was made up of. It wasn't no surprise to us. It was just kind of glad that the rest of the country could see what we had been seeing.
And now the country notices once more the matchup of Rocky Top and Boomer Sooner.
I think our offense finally cracks 30. I have us winning. I'm gonna go 32-24.
Just embrace the moment. It's a great stadium. They're gonna be right on top of you, and just go have fun. Trust your instincts.
Now, Zach was very adamant about the Sooners breaking 30, so let's see if Neyland Stadium at night with the Vols in blackout jerseys is enough to seal the deal on that. Reporting with Baker, Darby McCormick, Game Day U.
Thanks, Darby. The Sooners might have lost last week, but may have found the same diamond in the rough that they found last year. Game Day U reporter Natalie Orozco has more on OU's X Factor, who could play a huge role tonight. Natalie?
Yeah, Michael, running back Xavier Robinson really became the Sooners' savior in the third quarter against Ole Miss last week, scoring twice in just 4 minutes to help OU take the lead. Although the Sooners fell short of glory, Robinson still got all the praise from his team.
Yeah, big guy. Really can run through trash. That's a guy who can run through trash for sure. Can't arm tackle him. You have to put a body on a body, and population of football. Like, you have to get people on him, or he's gonna break away how he did 2 days ago. But yeah, it's hard. I don't know what his weight is, but he feels like he's running at 280.
It was great to see, man. Just to see my boy Xavier get his feet wet, man. Bringing us back in that game. Had a long run. I was excited on that play, but it's definitely exciting to see, man. That room is definitely great, and it's a lot more to come.
I mean, you'll definitely see X out there. And, you know, I thought he gave a real spark to the entire team, to the entire stadium. You know, just being tough to tackle, being physical, being violent, and popping off that big run. That was huge for the momentum of the game. It's awesome. It's the player that he is. He's big. He's strong. I mean, y'all saw he's pretty fast, too. He's talented. And so I'm excited to keep on getting X going.
Now, Robinson only had 9 carries in the game against Ole Miss, but I'm sure the Sooners would love to see some more X's and O's drawn up involving the stout sophomore, breaking through some more of that trash against Tennessee tonight. Michael, back to you.
I'm sure you're right, Natalie, and when we come back, we'll tackle this volunteer team and see if the Sooners can turn the blackout into a funeral for Tennessee. Up next on Game Day U.
Welcome back to Game Day U. We're still out here in Knoxville, and hey, while we talk a whole bunch about the Sooners, you know they take football seriously here in Rocky Top. I was in Atlanta for SEC Media Days in July, where the Vols made it clear that this one is personal. I'm Andrew West here at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, just chilling with Smoky number 9's former Threads. And speaking of former Threads, Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel's looking to take down his as Oklahoma returns to Knoxville for the first time in 10 years, and what can only be deemed as the battle of paws and ponies.
We know the history that they have together and how things was done over there, so, you know, we already play for them, but of course it's going to add some more fire.
Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel returned to Norman last season for the first time since being fired by the Sooners in 2014. The Vols came out on top 25-15 in a win that the team says was for their coach.
It was very big, you know. We wanted to do it for him more than ourselves, and we feel like going into that week, you could just see everybody dialed in.
Speaking of former Sooners turned Vols, former OU offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell joined the coaching staff after being fired from Oklahoma in 2024, creating a bond at Tennessee that goes deeper than the logo on their chest.
I love Coach Luttrell. We have a lot in common. But yeah, just having him, that whole coaching staff, man, you just walk up there and it's like they're all just brothers. And especially like for Coach Hype, man, like whenever you have a teammate and a brother from back in the day, like that's only going to help you.
And while the bad blood may truly never go away, Josh Heupel knows that at the end of the day, it's never more important than what happens on the field.
It's a unique set of circumstances that you're walking into, for sure. It's in some ways a little bit different because of those relationships, but you buckle your chin strap, the ball gets kicked off, and it's 11 on 11.
The last time these two teams met in Neyland Stadium, it was Baker Mayfield putting Oklahoma on top in a double overtime thriller, but the Sooners better have the wagons ready because I think Smokey might be coming for revenge. Reporting from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, I'm Andrew West, Game Day U.
Thanks, Andrew. Tennessee has been dominant on offense, ranking 3rd in total offense, averaging over 45 points a game. The Vols are the best offense the Sooners have faced this year. OU will have to find a way to unlock their offense if they want to keep up.
Michael, Tennessee is ranked 99th in total defense. In the Vols' last game at Kentucky, they allowed the worst team in the SEC to score 34 points. OU has a chance at redemption, but it is up to John Mateer and the offense to make the plays. Cam, Andrew, what are your takes?
Yeah, Hallie, if the Sooners want any chance at winning tonight, it starts with stopping the Joey Aguilar passing attack, as he's averaging over 320 yards passing per game, good for first in the SEC.
Cam, I'm looking at Tennessee on 3rd and 4th down. Josh Heupel is not afraid to go for it. When they do, they are 2nd in the country. This OU defense has got to find a way to keep that Tennessee offense off the field. Michael?
Well, Andrew, how about the team that gave their best against Tennessee last week? Kentucky heads to Auburn, who have their own issues at quarterback. Jackson Arnold has struggled, not too many Sooner fans' surprise. He's been benched, so I'll be watching Jordan Hare to see how their new quarterback does.
Michael, Ole Miss hosts South Carolina this weekend, and almost everyone has their money on the Rebels. But South Carolina almost stole a win against Alabama last weekend. If the Gamecocks can perform like that again, they should shock the world of college football.
Yeah, Hallie, Georgia and Gunner Stockton have their hands full as they face a desperate Florida team in Jacksonville at Everbank Stadium.
Yeah, and things are going to get real rowdy down in Austin. Diego Pavia leads the Vanderbilt Commodores into Texas to take on Arch Manning, who is coming off of concussion protocol. I'm taking Vanderbilt to shut down any last playoffs hope the Longhorns have. Michael?
Crazy that Vandy could still make the SEC championship game, Andrew. But when we come back, we'll dissect this OU team. Don't go anywhere, Sooner fans.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/act now.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Oh, right. Look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Sooner fans, it's time to break down some key parts of this OU team and see if they can turn Rocky Top into Rocky Flop. OU's offense is almost as scary as the Day of the Dead, but its run game came back to life the last 2 weeks. This makes back-to-back games, and OU running back has rushed for 100 yards, Robinson this last week in Blaylock versus South Carolina. But the team seemed to be afraid of running the ball in the first half against Ole Miss. Venables and Arbuckle both said that they had regrets on not using Xavier Robinson more. Tennessee allows 135 rushing yards per game and even gave up 146 to a bad Kentucky team. The OU offense has to show up today if the Sooners want to get this win.
I talked about John Mateer earlier. One of his main struggles from last weekend was seeing down the field, and Mateer only helped gain 14 first downs for OU compared to Ole Miss's 21. Mateer completed 17 of his 31 passes. He was performing decent in the first 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarter, Mateer couldn't finish in crunch time. Mateer threw 10 incomplete passes in the last 9 minutes of the game. Mateer has to bring his A game against Tennessee, or their defense is going to go balls to the walls.
Yeah, Hallie, Mateer needs to play better, but the onus is on the secondary. Against Ole Miss, the Sooners gave up 300 yards passing, the most for an opposing quarterback this season versus the Sooner defense. And going into Neyland Stadium tonight, the secondary and specifically the corners need to have a big game for them to stay in the college football playoff hunt. And I'm looking at Cortland Guillory to have a big game tonight.
Yeah, Cam, and like I said earlier, this team has got to execute better, but they were not always put in the best spot for success, especially when it comes to play calling. There was one in the end zone that led to a safety, and then another on a 4th and 2 that sucked the entire air out of the stadium. Big games like these are pivotal for job security. We're going to see if Ben Arbuckle was the answer or if the whole offensive staff needs a revamp. That's all from us out here in Knoxville. For Andrew West, alongside Cam Williams, back to you guys in the studio.
Play calling will certainly be a key tonight, Andrew. And when we come back, some new faces will make their calls on some big games later today. Don't go anywhere.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping. Got a few minutes? You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together. It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Welcome back to Game Day U. I'm joined by some fresh faces in the studio ready to give their takes on some of the most exciting games of Week 10 of college football. Joining me is Tanner Frank, Bella O'Neill-Dooley, and Elijah Lena. The Mean Green versus the military undefeated Navy makes the trip to Denton to take on North Texas. Tanner, anchors away. Who gets it done?
This game has a Navy W written all over it. The #1 ranked rushing offense is facing the 118th rushing defense in the country. I want the triple option in the college playoffs. Give me the shit, man.
Yeah, Tanner, Navy is going to welcome North Texas aboard, and the only thing that'll be mean green will be their seasick faces. Navy's QB Blake Horvath has over 800 rushing yards, and I can't picture UNT wrapping him up. Navy's the only undefeated team in the AAC, and it's going to stay that way.
I just flat out disagree. Drew Mestamaker just threw for over 600 yards last week against the Charlotte 49ers, and the team notched 7 touchdowns. Even if it's just Charlotte, if they can bring even some of that momentum to Navy, I think they stand a good chance. Go Mean Green.
Flying solo, Elijah, I like it. Diego Pavia versus Arch Manning in Austin as number 9 Vanderbilt take on 20th ranked Texas. Tanner, will Pavia have his Heisman moment against the preseason betting Heisman favorite?
While I do think Vandy is a great team with Diego Pavia, Texas is just far too talented on the defensive side of the ball. This is the first top 20 ranked defense Pavia is facing all season. So regardless if Arch is playing or not, Longhorns can turn their season around with this win. Hook 'em.
Tanner, listen up. Diego Pavia is a brick. House. He leads Vanderbilt with over 450 rushing yards, which almost doubles Texas's leader, Quintravion Wisner. And also, Vandy has won against teams that are actually relevant. So give me the Commodores.
Tanner, that take is going to age like poorly smoked brisket, which is exactly what this Texas Longhorns team has been all season. They squeaked out wins against Mississippi State and Kentucky, and that's enough for me to say anchor down.
I like your thinking, Elijah. Over to Salt Lake City and the site of College Game Day. Number 17, Cincinnati at number 24, Utah. Who you got, Tanner?
If we're having poorly smoked brisket at the cookout, expect me to bring some bad baked Bearcat. Cincy has played 0 competition all year, and Utah is coming off a blowout win against Coach Prime. Cincy, the fairy tale is over. You get your second loss.
Tanner, Cincinnati eats their chili with spaghetti. If they're crazy enough for that, I know they got some tricks up their sleeves to pull out on Utah. The Bearcats are undefeated in league play and are on a burning hot 7-game win streak. Cincinnati is going to boot the Utes.
Well, Bella, Utah has faced some actual competition, and need I mention Utes quarterback Bird Ficklin just won Big 12 Freshman of the Week after his performance to beat out the Colorado Buffaloes. It's a beautiful day to be in Utah. Go Utes.
We will see if you're right, Elijah, but the game of the day for Sooner fans, number 18 Oklahoma at number 14 Tennessee. Tanner, keep it frank, who wins?
Messed up thumb or not, I don't see the Sooners moving into the win column with this matchup. Heck, they can barely move the ball. Not only does Joey Aguilar add to his Heisman campaign, but this puts Brent Venables in a very uncomfy situation. Give me good old Rocky Top.
Yeah, Tanner, I'm going to have to agree with you. OU's star defense did not look like themselves against Ole Miss, and Money Mateer has withdrawn from being a Heisman contender since his thumb injury. OU facing blacked out balls in Knoxville is going to give the Sooners a post-Halloween spook.
You can't win games when you're playing against 2 teams, and with the amount of penalties the Sooners have taken, that's exactly what has happened. They averaged 7.7 penalties over the last 3 games. It's a Vols win at home for me.
Not a lot of faith in Oklahoma this week, guys, and I don't blame you. I think Mateer will have a bounce-back game, and the Sooners will shock the world. But thanks for watching Game Day U, where it just means more. For Tanner Frank, Bella O'Neill-Dooley, and Elijah Lena, I'm Michael Thompson. We'll be back in 2 weeks when the Sooners head to Tuscaloosa to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Have a great game day, Sooner fans.